Hello, good morning. I've moved rooms now, but I haven't actually moved anywhere. So it feels weird to say I've been moved rooms, but here I am in a brand new space, and I'm joined by the beautiful, the legend that is Ashley Walker.
Ahoy! A very good morning, everybody, and welcome to the TTG VV Fest. We are so excited to share with you the reasons to believe about Virgin Voyages this morning.
We've got a full week, haven't we? We've just been telling everyone, Ashley, about all the sessions that are coming up. So I didn't know there was 5 cruises being given away. Have you signed that off?
I've signed that off. I'm sorry about that, Shane, but we're going to have lots of deserved winners on board on the VV Fest, aren't we? Lots of people desperate to get on board and have a fabulous time, either on board Valiant Lady or Resilient Lady later on this summer.
Yes, amazing. So, as we said, this session is all about reasons to believe. So, if you have sold Virgin Voyages before, this is just a reminder of some of the things that have been happening, as well as some of the new announcements. But if you're new to selling Virgin Voyages, this will be a great foundation for you. But if you are new, I'd definitely stay on for the session straight after this, where you're going to be joined by Luke, who's going to talk about Ahoy Sailor and giving us the impact around who our sailors are and who would love Virgin Voyages. More to the point, who wouldn't love Virgin Voyages is the thing. So let's take a little dive in. So we said reasons to believe. So this is going to be around about a 30-minute session or so, I think, SJ, for us, but 30 minutes. But then the exciting bit, we open up the floor for anybody who's got any questions. So if you do have any questions, you can use the Q&A function on your screen, and we'll get to as many of the questions as we can as we go through. Does that sound good to you, SJ?
Sounds just about perfect, Shane. Sounds like we're going to have it nailed.
Well, you look like you're in a fancy little room. Where are you? You look like you're in the beach club or something.
Oh, do I? No, this is just the spare room, Shane. It's just the spare room.
We're living your best life. Speaking of living our best life, so this year, Virgin Voyages was the first and only cruise line in the world to scoop all 5 awards in its category at the Cruise Critic Awards, which was a huge, huge achievement. Now, bear in mind, we've been sailing for around 15, 16 months when these awards were in place. But we won best value for money, best cabins, best dining, best service, and then also best overall cruise line. So as many of you will know, Cruise Critic is particularly challenging because obviously Cruise Critic, quite often that's where people go to moan, let's be honest. So to get these awards, it's an even bigger kudos because it's meaning that people who are sailing with us are really telling Cruise Critic just how amazing the product actually is. So absolutely a really recommendation for our experience. And when you're talking to your customers, be sure to reference all of the awards that we have won. You can go onto virginvoyages.com and click on the awards section, and there's a whole list of awards that we've been able to pick up. So huge amounts of awards there, and they're a good recommendation for your customers to be able to, give them the reassurance if they've never heard of us or they're booking Virgin Voyages for the first time. It's always helpful to close the sale when they realise just how many awards that we've picked up along the way. So huge amounts of awards, and then hopefully later this year we'll get a chance to pick up a TTG award as well. So we're keeping everything crossed for that. And thank you for everyone for your votes for us for the Travel Industry Awards by TTG later this year. That was a shameless plug. Did you like it, SJ? I snuck it in.
Yeah, well, why not, Shane? Why not? We've got to make the most of these awards. I mean, the fact they are coming in thick and fast, we're kind of secretly quite confident, aren't we? It's incredible.
Yeah, exactly. So fingers crossed. And again, we appreciate all of your votes. So SJ, why don't you tell us a little bit around who our sailors are for those that don't know?
Absolutely fantastic. Well, we are so incredibly proud that we've been able to curate a casually luxurious adult-only cruising experience. And what that means is that our sailors have to be 18 or over to be able to voyage on board with us. So as a brand, we've been able to really design and build our ships from the ground up with just adults in mind. So we've been able to design mature menus, sophisticated shawl things, really tailor our events and our gigs to that grown-up experience. Now, whilst as Virgin, as a brand, we absolutely love the kiddies, this is a chance for the grown-ups to get on board, to have some time for themselves, to reconnect and really bring out their inner child. So that is one of the key reasons why people book with us, actually, the fact that we are exclusively for adults and that chance for the grown-ups to really let their hair down.
Good. Thank you, SJ.
That's all right. Now, interestingly, one of the biggest questions that we get asked is, what is your average age? Now, I absolutely love this slide. So our average age on board is around 44 to 47. Now, when we look at the average age from the Clear stats, the average age of the cruise industry is around 56. So our age is significantly lower. And actually, if you stripped out the fact that the average age of 56 of the cruise industry includes children, you strip those out again, and that average age would jump right up. So our average age, 44 to 47, around 70% of our sailors, the bulk of our sailors, are between 35 to 55. And what's interesting is that only 10% of our sailors are 18 to 34. So we've kind of really drive towards singles, couples, and those multi-generational families that jump on board. So we have, at the moment, our campaign is that we have no solo supplement. So we've got lots of groups of friends booking their own individual cabins, not having to pay any extra to jump on board. Obviously, couples of all ages come on board and enjoy. And then multi-generational families. So again, referring back to the Clear conference earlier on this year, 27% of cruisers now are travelling as multi-generational families. So it's really great to see that we're really capturing that audience on board at Virgin Voyages as well. But what do our sailors love? They love to feel like a rock star. They love luxury without that stuffiness, without that formality. They love exploring, seeing new things, and they love like high-end design. So, Virgin Voyages absolutely ticks that box for them. And you'll see from this slide here, kind of a reference there to some of the other brands that you might see our sailors love, enjoy, experience, buy, and all of that great stuff there. So points of differentiation. When we reach out to our sailors after they've sailed on board with us, we ask them, tell us why you love Virgin Voyages. And these are the reasons why they're shouting out to us. Right, I'm going to book to come back with you guys again. And these are the reasons why. So we've already touched upon the point that we're exclusively adult. It's that chance for the adults just to let their hair down. And they love the fact that every point of the ship, every little corner of the ship is designed to make sure that we elevate that adult-only experience. The food and drink, oh my days. I can't steal any of Luke's thunder when he dives deeper into food and drink, but let me tell you, 20 plus eateries all included on board. All the specialty dining is all included. No extra nasty service charges. It's all there. Food made to order, all made freshly, no big buffets, no big main dining rooms. It's all made in very intimate spaces, and you can absolutely taste the difference. When it comes to drink, carefully crafted cocktail. Nobody wants a ready-made cocktail coming from a ready-made mix. Everything is made with the best premium quality ingredients. And you know when you get that sense of satisfaction when you get a really nice glass
of water.
It's not quite a gin. It's not quite a gin yet this morning, but give it another hour, we might get there. And also the drinks at really fair pricing as well. Inclusivity. So the fact that we do say to our sailors, come as you are. We want you just to come, enjoy. There's no dress codes. There's no formalities, no expectations. Just, we welcome all people of all ages, of all nationalities, just absolutely everything. Come on board Virgin Voyages. We love you. We'll have our arms around you, and you can just be your best self. And then finally, crew service. So we make sure that we look after our crew. Our crew feel like our ships are their home, and ultimately, just like they're living their best lives. So again, we encourage our crew. The reason why we employ our crew specifically is because we love them as individuals. So yes, you've got your tattoos, leave them on show. Don't take your piercings out. If your hair's pink, curly, massive, leave it as it is. Be your best self. And so I think the fact that we really encourage the crew to be their best selves at work, make sure that our crew look after our sailors to the very best of their ability. And that is one of the biggest reasons why sailors come back with us. They absolutely love the fact that their crew are themselves and they deliver the best service because they're authentic and they're genuine. So Shane, you've recently come back off Resilient Lady. You're well in the know because we've got some slight changes coming up, some slight enhancements. So let's lean over to you for what you've taken off from Resilient Lady.
Yes, I have, and it was an incredible week on board. So, but one of the things I wanted to point out, you mentioned inclusivity, right, as being an important factor of our experience, and I think we managed to create an experience that, yes, is inclusive in terms of the value for money of all the things that we include, but also the nature of the experience on board. It really is everyone can be their authentic self, as you mentioned. And I think what's brilliant in this group, I've just been watching the chat and I'm trying not to get distracted because you know what I'm like, I can't do two things at once. I was looking at the chat and there's loads of new people selling Virgin Voyages. In fact, loads of newbie travel agents, which is amazing because, of course, we lost a lot of people in the pandemic, so we need to build back up and get more and more people selling holidays. But there's also people who are been around from travel for quite some time and maybe selling Virgin Voyages for the first time. So I'm just loving the fact that this is a community for people who are new to be able to learn about a new product and share their experience with each other. And equally, for those people that have been around for a while, to maybe put your arm around somebody who's new to the industry. Remember, we didn't all know everything when we joined. So it's a great way for us to be together and hopefully spend some time making some new friends this week as well. So,
oh, Shane, you've warmed my heart. You've absolutely warmed my heart. Good morning to all of our newbies and good morning to all of our regulars. We love all of you. Thank you.
Exactly. So lots of things coming up. So if you do have questions, of course, drop them in the Q&A and we'll get to them as quickly as we can once we've finished kind of the slide section of the presentation. But to SJ's point, very exciting that I was on Resilient Lady just a few weeks ago. So for those of you that don't know, Resilient Lady is the third ship in our ladyship fleet. So she joined us in the summer of this year, set sail in May, and I was lucky enough to be one of the first people on board. Now, let me tell you, I think we've blown the doors off the experience when it comes to Resilient Lady. So, of course, every ship is my favourite. So all of our lady ships are our favourite ships because you can't choose a favourite child,
You
right?
can't choose between your children, can you?
Resilient Lady is the newborn, so of course she is definitely the favourite right now. But Resilient Lady, we've really ramped up the experience one step up again. So we've got brand new shows that are on board Resilient Lady that you won't find across the other fleet. We've got new innovations that you won't find across the other fleet as well. So one of those innovations that I really love is we have enhanced the Supper Club series. So we've got the Supper Club series, which is our dinner and entertainment show. So we do have one of those on Valiant Lady right now, but we do have a new one, which is called Another Rose. And you can find this exclusively on Resilient Lady. So you'll hear all about that later this week, but it's something not to be missed. There is a small charge for Another Rose, and quite often when people said, "Oh, well, I thought you said all dining was included," you're not paying for the food. You are paying for the cocktail matching and the whole experience that comes with it. It is a couple of hours, but you will get transformed into another world. So Another Rose is a really cool new feature that you'll find on board Resilient Lady, as well as festival stages, because we've listened to our feedback from our first mates, and we've introduced more and more new things on board. What our sailors were telling us is they wanted more live music. So Virgin's history really stems from music, right? Virgin Records, that's really what set this whole company alight. So being able to have the opportunity to introduce more live music than ever before. You'll find live music all around the ship, and it's all different types of music. So if you're somebody that doesn't want to be going to the main shows, but you actually want to be sitting enjoying a gin and tonic, listening to a jazz band on the rocks, you can do that as well. And so with loads of new shows, loads of new late night opportunities, and loads of things still to come for the rest of 2023. We're really excited, and we haven't finished yet. We've got lots more to come in terms of Brilliant Lady, our fourth ship still to come, and lots of things like that. So keep your eyes peeled for that. A question from Andrew has said, can Another Rose be booked in advance or only on board? Currently, you can only book it on board. However, there is a development coming in the next few weeks where you'll be able to pre-book all of your shows before you get on board the ship as well, which will be amazing, right? Again, listening to our sailors' feedback, they want to be able to book the shows so they know they can book the remaining dining around what's going on. So very exciting. But if you haven't sailed on Resilient Lady and you sailed on the other ships, get on board, because you'll be really in for a treat. And one thing I didn't mention, SJ, is we've got a new menu in Razzle Dazzle in the evening. So Razzle Dazzle by night is exclusive to Resilient Lady as well. So lots of cool new things on Resilient Lady.
And Shane, when you were on Resilient Lady, what was your favourite thing that you had from that Razzle Dazzle by night?
My favourite thing in Razzle Dazzle by night, what was it? They did an incredible pork belly dish, which was just unbelievable. But I also had a vegan dish, and I won't spoil it because it really is one of those dishes that kind of got to be seen to be believed, but completely vegan. And it was an amazing dish. So Razzle Dazzle is what I would say one of the most understated restaurants. I think people discover it towards the end of their voyage when they've heard all the good things about it. So it always gets busy towards the end. But be smart, get there early, and try at the beginning of your voyage, because you're definitely not going to want to miss out. And somebody earlier mentioned the secret menu, mouth, but there will be some opportunities. But Monica's saying no secret menu butter chicken. But Monica, it's coming back. I can tell you again, listening to the feedback, the butter chicken is coming back. I missed that too. So, AJ, tell us what our favourite itineraries are right now.
Oh my days. Wow, we're very lucky this year, aren't we? Because we've got two ships out in the Med, as we say. So Valiant Lady, she's based from Barcelona. She does her 2 lots of 7-night itineraries all the way around the Med. So a couple of highlights there. We were right in the centre of Barcelona at the World Trade Centre. So our sailors can just skip off quickly, go up to into Las Ramblas and what have you, and walk themselves back. And every one of our Med sailings on Valiant Lady also have their overnight in Ibiza as well. It's every Friday night, overnight in Ibiza, and the full day on the Saturday. So very exciting. The Irresistible Med, the one you see here, is our current top seller. We also have the French days and Ibiza nights. But regardless of whichever one of those voyages you go on, let me tell you, you are going to have an incredible time with incredible ports of call. And then we've got Resilient Lady, which of course Shane you just skipped back off from. So Resilient Lady joined us in May. She's sailing from Athens round trip right up until the end of October, and she's going to be doing her 7-night voyages. You'll see this here, Greek Island Glow. What an absolute belter we've got here! Santorini, Greece, Rhodes, Bodrum. It's overnight in Mykonos. It's an absolute corker. And what I love about our itineraries is the fact that we do stay in the ports as late as we possibly can to give our sailors the very best experience in each of these ports. And look how many places you're getting to in a week. It's pretty incredible, right? But we've got the Greek Island Glow and we've got the Adriatic Gems as well. So 2 stunning itineraries round from Athens there on Resilient Lady too. Absolute corkers. Now, every good sailor deserves to be rewarded, right? So we say, get sailing, get booking, get rewarded. And you can do that now with our brand new sailing club. So we've got some incredible benefits for our loyal sailors. So if you've not heard so far, now is the time to get booking. So if you've sailed with us once before and you sailed back in 2021, then you are classed as one of our Sea Blazers. A Sea Blazer if you sailed with us when we first set sail in 2021. And if you've taken 2 sailings with us up until this point now, you'll be classed, and it's a full fare paying sailor. So not any of our investment cabins as such or fam trips, but then you will be classed as a Sea Rover. Now, if you're a Sea Blazer or a Sea Rover and you book another voyage this year to sail by the end of December, you can bag yourself an extra 10% discount. So if you want that for your sailors, you just need to call through to Sailor Services or to Voyage Store, and you can get yourselves or your sailors an extra 10% discount. So not only do we offer discounts, we offer incredible benefits as well. And these are known as our Deep Blue Extras. So if you're a loyal sailor, or indeed you are part of our Match and See More program, which I'll come on to shortly, that means that you might have sailed with another cruise line, you're part of their loyalty benefit system, then you can transfer some of those benefits. So I know you're all dying to know, what are these Deep Blue Extras? So a reminder, if you are a Sea Blazer or a Sea Rover, or you are part of our Match and See More program where you're a part of a loyalty scheme with another cruise line, you will have these Deep Blue Extras added onto your booking. So I'll just dive into a couple of those. I mean, an extra $100 bar tab credit, an extra $100 to spend on cocktails, on your specialty coffees, and whatever you choose. You've got $100 extra bar tab credit just there. In fact, don't spend that on your coffees because you get $10 daily to spend on your specialty coffees as well. So really, that's $170 that our sailors can get to spend on their drinks. They get invitation to an exclusive cocktail event. So we all want to be part of that, don't we? We have a little bit of FOMO if we're not included on an exclusive cocktail event. But you know what? I'm not going to lie. I mean, this does show a lot about me, but one of my favourite benefits about this is the free laundry service.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's the free laundry service.
Better than getting back from holiday without having to do your laundry, right?
Exactly. What an absolute win. You know, you get those holiday blues when you face in the very end of your voyage. You think, oh gosh, I've got to get that washing in as soon as I get home, and I hope the weather's good because I've got to hang it out. No. Get it out to our laundry service, get it all back, get it all pressed and pop it in your luggage.
Now, somebody asked me about the size of the bag. So it says 2 pressed items and one bag of laundry. Now, I'll tell you now, the size of the bag, I was very easily able to get in there 23 kilos of luggage in that bag, quite easily. Very well folded, but it is a very big bag for you to be able to send quite a lot off to get that included. So if your sailors have sailed in 2021 or sailed twice, or you're going to match to a status of another brand, then that is an absolute dream to be able to take advantage of all these things.
Isn't it just? And Shane, do you know what? I'm not going to lie. I think that this is our best kept secret, and nobody can sell a secret.
Exactly.
We need to be shouting from the rooftops about these deep blue extras. Now, I hear you say, but which of those other cruise lines can I transfer the loyalty benefits from? So look at this massive, huge list here. Pretty much all of you big boys out there, any of their loyalty programs that you can see written there. You've got all of the memberships tiers listed there. If you've got sailors that are a part of any of these loyalty programs, all they need to do, we've got the link on the website. They ask for a couple of details, ping it on, and we will add on those deep blue extras automatically to those voyages. So it's an absolute no-brainer. Our loyal people that have sailed with us before, and if you've got anybody that is part of any of these loyalty programs, get them switched over if you're thinking they're the right sailors for Virgin Voyages, and we will get those deep blue extras added on automatically for them. So I think, Shane, that's a wrap from our side. But I'm sure.
I just want to go back to this page a second, sorry, because if I was a first mate out there watching today, first thing I'd do is take a photo of this. And if you've got customers that you say have sailed on some of these brands, but they are looking for a more modern, inclusive experience, and they're looking for ships that, haven't got any kids on board, and they're looking for a slightly different experience. They may have sailed with another brand because of all the gizmos and gadgets, but their kids might have now grown up and they don't need them anymore. Take Jenny in our team, for example. Her kids, they were obviously younger. They used to go on other cruises because of the gizmos and gadgets. Now they've grown up. The kids are actually off going to see Calvin Harris, while Jenny and her partner were off going to have a lovely dinner in Ibiza. So a great opportunity for our sailors to be able to have a multi-generational experience, but not one that I think we're used to selling. We're so used to kind of thinking multi-generation is young kids, right? And then grandparents. But actually, those kids are growing up, and especially after lockdown, people wanting to travel together a lot more and have that time together. So a lot of people are already taking photos of this. I'll leave it on the screen for a little bit longer if you're looking to try and grab your mobile phone. But definitely take a picture of this. It's useful. And then there is a link for it as well. So if you scroll up in the chat function, there was a link posted, which is virginvoyages.com/sailing-club. That's got all of the information there for you to see how your sailors can take advantage of that. So it is, like you say, SJ, is the best kept secret. So make sure your sailors know about it, because it could swing and close that sale for you. For somebody who's come to the events today and somebody who hasn't, that could be the difference of making those bookings. So get the photo. And the first thing they did was take a photo of the loyalty info. Well done, Mandy.
Well done.
And Nicola's asking, if a customer's on their third voyage as part of a back-to-back cruise, will the Sea Rover kick in on the second for the third? Yes, it will. So it'll kick off after their second sailing, and they'll be eligible for the third. But you can get in touch with Sailor Services and they can help them with that as well. So like you say, Ashley, I think that's it from us. So we can open the floor to any questions. And I did pick up a couple of questions as we were going through. Some that were quite consistent. One was around weddings specifically, about do we offer weddings on board right now? So what's your take on that?
So at the moment, no, we don't offer weddings on board. If you want to come on board for your honeymoon, that's a great option. But it is something that we are exploring. But right now, sadly, it isn't something that we're offering at the moment. But yeah, honeymoons galore, celebrations galore. Even hen or stag do's if you wanted something longer, but as something is still very elevated, then we could tick that box for you.
Good. Well, I've got a little secret.
Oh, do tell.
Weddings are coming. So they're coming soon. So we're working on it. So, of course, there are legal restrictions about having weddings on board. But in the short term, if you've got sailors that are wanting to come on board for maybe more of a blessing, they do the legal formalities at another time, and then they come on board for their ceremony, if you like, and the reception on board. That is something that we can work with on board as well. But weddings are something that we get asked a lot. So we're working very hard to get the legal approval for us to be able to do those. So and renewing your vows as well, Anika. And so lots of opportunities to be able to do that as well. So we're always listening. We're always evolving. And bear in mind, we've only been sailing for 15 months or so? We haven't been sailing for huge amounts of time, but these are all the enhancements that we're making along the way. And we did have another question as well that came in. And then if you've got any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat function and we'll answer them as we go along, as many as we can. I'm not sure how long have we got left on this session, SJ?
We've got about another 10 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
we've got lots of time. Somebody put on the chat as well that they love the fact that there's no solo supplement. moment. I mean, again, that is such an understated part of our current campaign at the moment. The fact that we can have groups of friends and they can all have their own hammock on their sea terrace. Why not? They haven't got to fight over the bathroom space. So get them booking on as groups of friends if need be, and they can all have their own cabins at no extra cost.
We should have thought about this for your hen do. We're sharing a room. We haven't thought about this.
We should have.
So Debbie's asked a question, which I thought was a good one. So there are many people that are new to home working, or then launch their own business as well. So they're wondering, how to take advantage of Virgin Voyages, and perhaps what's the best advice and tips that we can give. So maybe I'll give my tip, and then you can give yours, SJ.
Right.
But my tip is for you to really go out and look for the sailors of where we've said they're going to be. Where can they be found? So we listed some of the brands there, like Waitrose, for example, Ocado. There's lots of different opportunities that you'll find our sailors. So don't be afraid to go and look for them, and don't just wait for them to come and knock on your doors. If there's an opportunity to be able to do some marketing in those spaces, to be able to tell people about Virgin Voyages in those spaces, then I would definitely go ahead and do that as well. But I would also then look at, maybe you've got some customers that love land accommodation. They love doing land-based holidays. They've never considered a cruise before. I think Virgin Voyages is the cruise for people that don't do cruises, reality. So if somebody loves boutique accommodation, loves the types of Sandals hotels, Icos properties, those kind of hotels, then it should be a switch to Virgin Voyages is a great opportunity for them. So really good opportunity to be able to switch to us as well. And you'll generally find that the commission earning opportunity is greater as well. What's your top tip, SJ?
I think my top tip, I mean, Shane, you covered some really, really great points there. I think my top tip is when I think about the feeling on board Virgin Voyages, it's the best of the big cities. So every restaurant that you go into, they're all run as very intimate, separate entities with their very own identities. They have their own galleys, they've got their own restaurant managers. And so it's like you're going into each restaurant that would be within the big cities. And I feel like it's a big crossover with the glitz and the glamour of the big cities, crossed with the best sophistication, relaxation of the beach clubs. So with that kind of combination in mind, I would think if you've got people that are going to high-end hotels within city breaks, or if you've got people that are looking for those really kind of high-end beach club experiences, then there would be an absolute key crossover there as well. So definitely exploit some of those databases that you may already have. I think city breaks is a really quick, easy win, particularly as well with our port-rich itineraries.
And don't forget, we've got a team of people that are there to support you. So we do have a team that can help you to be able to deliver sailor nights. So all we ask is there's some minimum numbers. So if you can get a minimum of 15 people together, we will either join you face-to-face or join you digitally to host these events for your customers as well. So when we know we get a chance to talk to your customers, we will help you convert those bookings and obviously drive them back to you. So be sure to loop us in where you've got those opportunities, and we'll do our best to help you on them. A couple of things that have come in from Aniki saying that the app has massively improved. So again, huge amounts of investment and focus been on the app. So I had absolutely no issues with the app when I was sailing. So and compared to last year, where we knew it was a brand new app and was challenging for last year, but now it's now one of the key selling points. We're actually seeing the feedback well above 90% satisfaction with the app, which is brilliant. There were some questions earlier on the app. Monica's asked around sea terraces. So some sea terraces have a metal front and some have partial metal fronted. Now those ones can be found very forward of the ship. What you will find is when we allocate our cabins, you might know that we auto allocate our cabins to our sailors, and we do so based on the best available cabins. So those metal fronted cabins are what we would term as the least desirable in terms of sea terrace cabins. So we don't automatically allocate those, but obviously as the ship gets fuller and fuller, there'll be a point then those will have to be allocated. But the earlier you book, the better, because then you will get the best quality of the cabin, if you like. So we will allocate the cabins, but for reference, those the metal fronted and partially metal fronted ones are further down on the allocation list, shall we say. But I've actually had one of those metal fronted balconies, and for me, it was great. Because the benefit of the metal fronted balconies is also, you can go and see a balcony and no one can see all the way through the glass. So it's always quite helpful. And you're going to get out there in your pants anyway. So
oh, brilliant. Holly's asked a question there, Shane, around the Ibiza overnight. Is there also a Palma overnight too? Wow, Holly. great news. Yes, there is. And so what happens? So that particular voyage, it goes from Barcelona to Marseille, over to Cannes, and then you're sailing at sea up until around 6 p.m. the following day, and then you dock in Palma. You've got overnight in Palma, the full following day in Palma, and then we leave about 6 p.m. So you're there for about 24 hours. Then you go to sea again overnight, see it the following day, and then you get into Ibiza about 7 o'clock the following day. So that particular one, it's an overnight in Palma and it's an overnight in Ibiza too. So it is absolutely incredible.
Now, some astute ones amongst us have noticed that Olbia was on the list on the itinerary, but actually Olbia was changed. We spotted it too late, so we couldn't update the presentation, but you're absolutely right. Olbia has been removed from our itineraries. The reason why Olbia was removed is, as I said, we're always listening to sailor satisfaction, and we're always listening to that feedback. And Olbia was one of the least ranking ports that we have in our itineraries, and we want to make sure if we're going to destinations, we're going to destinations that are wowing our sailors and giving them the best possible experience. So Olbia doesn't give that experience from what we've found in our sailor satisfaction. So we rejigged our itineraries a little bit, and you say we've got Palma more inclusive in there, so you've got more of that time to be able to make the most of those brilliant spaces rather than going to a destination that perhaps wasn't quite hitting the mark for our sailors. That's not to say we won't go back, we might do in the future, but more importantly, we're focused on making sure we're delivering our sailors the best possible experience.
Yeah, the beauty of being a new and nimble brand, right?
Yes, exactly. And Emma is asking about agent rates. So we do have what we call first mate rates. First mate rates are available. They're available to those members that have completed to the gold tier status. So you need to complete to gold tier, or silver tier actually, sorry. Silver tier to get your first mate rate, gold tier to get some onboard credit on that rate. And you can find all of those on firstmates.com. So all the list of dates that are available, you can find them on firstmates.com. That's where you'll.
And Shane, let me just add on another point there. So not only do you get first mate rates and some incredible benefits personally for going through RC Academy, which is our online training, but also you will get more bookings as a result of doing that training. So the Sea Academy is made up of 4 different tiers. We've got violet, scarlet, silver and gold. Those members who get to our violet tier, which is our entry-level tier, are booking typically around 4 times more than those who have registered but not completed the training. But get this, when our first mates get to gold tier, they're booking a whopping 15 times more than those on the violet tier. So the training absolutely resonates and it correlates directly with increased sales. So my ask to everybody joining today and spread it with your colleagues is absolutely, it's worth completing Sea Academy, not only to get extra sales, but of course then you get your extra personal benefits as well in relation to those first mate rates.
Yeah, and we've had a question from Julie Batchelor saying, will you be covering accessibility specifically for wheelchair users? So we'll make sure that is covered off when we get to the Getting Ship Shape session, easy for me to say, later in the week. So we'll make sure that's covered off. But one thing I would say is we have had some of our first mates travelling with us who are wheelchair users and travelling with their assistance dog. And they told us that the experience, and they've been back a number of times, they told us the experience was incredible as a wheelchair user, and they're able to get around and do everything that they need to be able to do. So, which is amazing. But we'll make sure we'll cover that in a bit more detail later in the week as well. Good. What else have we got? As got here, but the email says, looks like I haven't started yet. So don't worry, if you have received an email saying you haven't started your Academy yet and you have completed it to gold tier or whatever you've completed to, do not panic. There was a gremlin in the system that decided to tell some certain people that they haven't completed the training. We've established the area. You don't need to get in touch with us. So just ignore it. If you completed your training, you're all good. It's fine. No bother. We just like to test you a little bit, you know? We're looking more to keep ourselves on our toes, just to let you know. You haven't completed your training. Oh, you have? Only kidding.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. He was asking, when will the brilliant itineraries be out for summer 2024? We will let you know as soon as we know. We don't have a date on those yet. We're expecting them at the end of June, but we're now expecting them a little bit later on than that. So we will let you know as soon as we do. Obviously, she's a new ship, so we're just currently working on what the itineraries will be for her summer season. So keep your eyes peeled and we'll let you know as soon as we do.
Shane, can you believe we're going to have 4 ships in the water very soon?
No, it's going to send me over the edge. I'm so used to having 1 ship, but now we're talking about 4 ships. It's crazy.
It's happening very, very quickly.
Yeah, that's good. People are a bit stressed about getting their email. That's what we like to do, you see. We stressed you out, and now you're like, I've already done it. Sorry about that. But yeah, it keeps all our toes. I was getting a lot of questions coming through, people saying I haven't been able to get them. And you can ask a question. The most random question or suggestion was to learn that the blankets they provide in the room aren't sold. They'll be very, very popular. We don't sell them. They are fairly expensive per unit. So we don't currently sell them. We actually obviously need to get so many per cabin, so we don't actually have spare ones to be able to sell. So it does take up all of our supplies by having them in our cabins. One thing I would say is definitely help your sailors by making sure that they don't take them. Then when things are in the cabin are not for borrowing purposes, so those blankets will do need to remain in the cabins, otherwise they may find themselves with a little bit of a charge. Well, it's not a little charge, it's quite a big charge. So don't be removing those from the cabins. But yeah, we can't sell everything on board just yet, but you never know. Trace saying, I'm going on Valiant Lady September. Do you have an itinerary for to other areas of islands, etc.? What's the earliest time you can board if a flight arrives at 12 o'clock? So Tracy, the earliest boarding that we have, you'll see on your app. When you go into your app, you'll be able to select a time for that. The earliest boarding is typically 2 p.m. if you're not a Rockstar sailor. It tends to be a little bit earlier if you are a Rockstar sailor, but you can drop your luggage off at the terminal, go off and explore Barcelona, and then come back to the terminal. You see how I said Barcelona?
Barcelona, yeah. And that's one of the beauties of the fact that where the ship docks, it's a really unique position just right next to the World Trade Center. So you can literally drop your luggage and then just have a nice wander, whether it be, up Las Ramblas or along the front to the harbour area, and make the most of that time before you get on board your ship.
Thank you. Harisha said, I'd like to know about travel insurance whilst on board. So you do need to have travel insurance when you sail with us. So that is a compulsory requirement. So you can check that out in the T's and C's. But we don't provide travel insurance. We're not a travel insurance seller. So you need to be a regulated insurance seller to be able to sell insurance, of which we are not. So we don't sell travel insurance. But you can do that yourselves or use one of the other suppliers, such as Holiday Extras or someone like that, who can assist you with insurance. But it is a requirement when sailing that you do need some form of insurance, and we'd strongly recommend that your sailors take cruise cover. Now, cruise cover is important because it will cover you for medevac. Now, in the unlikely event, and it's very unlikely, that you were to fall ill on board the ship and need to be medical evacuated, standard insurance doesn't cover that, so you could be liable for a medical evacuation for a helicopter, which does rack up, doesn't it, SJ? So it does get a little bit expensive.
Yeah.
So it's definitely worth having cruise cover on your insurance, and help your sailors to help themselves by making sure that they've got that. Any reveal for 2025 expected this week? No, there'll be no reveal for 2020. I should have said yes, Walter. Yes, Walter, they will be. You have to watch every session until Friday.
Yeah.
There'll be any 2025 announcements this week. But still, you'll learn a lot, Walter, so keep your eyes peeled. So that's it. I think we've managed to capture as many questions as we possibly can now. I think we're pretty much done for this session, SJ.
That's it. I think we're pretty much at time, Shane. But some really great questions asked there. So that's really interesting, really useful, I think, for the whole audience.
Good. Thank you very much. Kirsty said, last question, any chance of any ex-UK departures? So we're very excited to have the opportunity to sail from the UK in the future. We would really hope that we could. What we really need is you guys to be able to sell as many people on the Virgin Voyage from the UK as possible. The more people we have traveling from the UK will give us the best story we can to say, why don't we bring the ship to them? So I'd really suggest that you just keep selling as much as you possibly can, because it'll really help us to build that case to bring a ship to UK waters. So that's it. Thank you so much. That's it for today, I think, in this session anyway. Coming up next, we have Ahoy Sailor featuring our very own Luke Day. SJ will tell you, we had a bit of a rehearsal with Luke earlier. I told him to change his shirt, didn't I?
You did. And I said to Shane, you're the only person that can give that feedback in such a direct but friendly way.
I said to him, what about your shirt? You look like you just got him from a night out. So let's have a look and see if he's looking a little bit better in the next session. We'll be all moved over to the next session, which is called Ahoy Sailor. That's actually it for me today. I'm going to be able to put my feet up for a little bit, but I'm going to be back at the end of the week for Salty Trivia, which is going to be a lot of sound like Stella Black then. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for your questions. Stay where you are right now. We'll move you into a new room, and we'll see you with Lukey Boy over at Ahoy Sailor in just a sec. Thanks, SJ. That was fun.
Thanks so much, guys. Thanks, Shane. See you soon.